of people who are struggling for their survival in this brutal war of aggression of Russia against Ukraine. But at the same time, being strong and showing this resolve and internal strength to continue this fight, at the same time, all of us, military in the battlefield, people, civilians, children, elderly people, we require this constant feedback from all our partners that we are not alone, that we are supported. And in this regard, this feedback is very crucial. And that's why whenever we receive any package of assistance, be it medical care, be it defense assistance, it's immediately communicated to people so that ordinary Ukrainians have better understanding that they are not alone once again in this fight against this evil. And in this regard, when we are awarded with numerous and prizes, and this prize, the Sakharov Prize, is for the freedom of thought and for fundamental democratic values. It's so important for us. When I think of Ukrainians, and not just returning back to the 24th of February, I can think just very briefly about two words that describe us, I think, in my humble opinion, to the best of my knowledge and understanding. It's freedom and dignity. These two words are very important. They have always been very important for us. And our fight for these fundamental values, for human rights, it started not yesterday. It started not on the 24th of February 2022. It started not even 8 years ago, when Russia made its first step to annex our sovereign territories in Crimea and certain areas of Donbass. It started long before. In 2013, we had the Revolution of Dignity. In 2004, we had the Orange Revolution. Before that, in October 1990, we had the peaceful revolution of students, which is called the Revolutions on Granite. So people in Ukraine, they have always been very supportive and very strong, standing for these basic values and fundamental freedoms. So it's deep in our bones and it's in our blood. That's why I described my feelings of my Ukrainians, beside of being brave, heroic, and I can find many words to describe. But freedom and dignity, these are two words that describe us to the best of my understanding. Regarding the current situation on the ground, definitely it's, if I say that it's very difficult, probably I wouldn't give you the full and real picture on the ground. It's all about survival. It's all about survival in the capital city of Kiev, which the Russians try to freeze, which the Russians try to cut electricity supplies, which is primary target of numerous missile attacks. The situation is the same in many cities and towns. While our military are fighting fiercely to defend our homeland and make advance in order to liberate areas. And it's so important because when we're talking about liberation, we're talking about human rights, we're talking about Ukraine being present in those territories, and we're talking about the normalization of life of ordinary civilians, which have faced so many atrocities when these areas were under temporary occupation of the Russian Federation. So they're struggling fiercely, but at the same time, we still have disadvantage in some areas when it comes to defense equipment, military hardware, and human resources. Because it's another thing that I would like to mention here, that when we are talking about Ukraine, the life of a person is priceless. And every of our military commanders, be it generals with many orders and decorations, or be it lieutenants who have just graduated from military academies, of 22, 23 years old, they care about their soldiers. We don't see the same situation on the other side of front line. What we see a lot of things happening. A lot of people are being killed by Russian commanders who are sending their troops while knowing what they are fighting for. We have clear understanding what we are fighting for our liberty, for our dignity, and for our way of life, to live in a democratic and free country in the family of the European nations, the family of nations that we have always belonged to. It's our place, we have always been here, and we will be here forever. So the situation on the ground is very, very difficult. They are, especially in the Donbass area, they are trying to also to make advanced movements, but still, what we are sure about, that they will never break our will. They will never break our brave military, who will continue to fight for their land and to protect civilians. Because in Ukraine we say that we are fighting not against the adversaries. We are fighting to protect those who are behind us. Behind us, I mean civilians, our mothers, our fathers, and our children. We have reached quite a lot of success recently in military terms. We liberated a lot of areas in Kherson region. We liberated Gammal-Svenskby, the old Swedish village in Kherson region. And we brought the Ukrainian flag, Ukrainian authorities, and human rights to the liberated areas. But at the same time, we faced numerous tasks, and definitely the country on everyday basis, it has to solve multi-tasks. It's not about just doing one thing. We should do many and solve many problems at the same time. In this regard, when we're talking about our partners, definitely we have received a lot of assistance, and we are so much grateful for that. But we also want to make it clear that we definitely need more and more assistance. The more assistance we get, the faster we will bring end to this war. The faster we will get the victory in this war. The faster the people will stop to suffer and return to normal life. In this regard, when we're talking to our partners, they all know about our most urgent needs in this regard. It goes with microfinancial assistance that has been provided by many partners and the European Union. We're talking about humanitarian assistance. In this regard, while I'm honored to be posted here in Sweden, I would definitely like to mention this, that what we see here, and my president, when he was addressing the parliament, he used this word, blue and yellow team, referring to Ukraine and Sweden. So what has been done here, the level of support, the level of solidarity is really fascinating, and we are so much grateful for that. When it comes to the packages of assistance, when it comes to other resources that were provided to Ukraine, when it comes to generous donations, not only by Swedish entrepreneurs and businessmen, but also by private Swedes, it's so touching. And definitely, please rest assured that we will never forget this. We will always be grateful for that. When we're talking about European Union partner states, definitely we're talking about the utmost importance to continue this support, to step up the volume of this support, and definitely to maintain unity. Because when we are united, we are strong. When we are united, our voice and our response, practical response to these atrocities and to these crimes against humanity and war crimes is so strong that it will definitely, together with other means, will make Putin stop, make him withdraw his troops from Ukraine, and make him return back to the international law. This is so important. The unity is so important for us, and we will work hard together with our partners to keep this unity in place, to step up efforts in support of Ukraine. Because it's, once again, it has multiple fronts. I mean, this war has multiple fronts. Be it economic front, be it energy front, be it food supplies front, be it information warfare. Everything is important. Every single step that is being made by our partners in unanimity, when we are all united, it will really make difference on the ground. If we talk about, for example, sanctions, they are also very important. We should keep this. We should press more, because unfortunately, many things that we are now talking about, in our opinion, they should have been implemented long before. Long before. We were talking about, we were sending signals, we were sending messages, we were warning all our partners. Unfortunately, we have now to take measures in response to these emerging threats. But at the same time, once again, we will be working on that together with our partners. We will continue to press and to make Russia stop this war. Because it wasn't us who started this. Because we have always been a peace-loving nation who has always wanted to have these good neighborly relations. But unfortunately, we are talking all about the values. We share the same values with all our European friends, transatlantic. We share human rights, democracy, freedom of thought, freedom of anyone to go and to express his views. But we are facing the country which lives in parallel reality. We are thinking about future, making plans, and we are talking to a country which thinks only of the past. So that's the situation we have. When it comes to social and the situation with civilians, it's really very difficult. It's really very difficult, and me as ambassador posted here, and all my colleagues posted abroad, we have numerous tasks, but two major priorities: more weapons, and now more energy equipment. Because these are equally important tasks for Ukrainians. Even in the capital city of Kiev. Yesterday I talked to my father and my elder sister. No electricity for 5 or 6 consecutive hours. After missile strikes, there were times when they had no electricity for 40 hours. 40 hours without electricity. If I go further, it means that if we have no electricity, you have no heating, you have no water. Because we are all used to live in apartments, and it means that if there's no electricity, the water is not pumped to the upper floors, and it means that after several hours, you cannot support the heating system. So these issues of everyday survival, and the local authorities, definitely people are helping each other. It's also in our blood to help the relative, to help the neighbors, to help all our friends, to support each other during this very hardest times of our history. But at the same time, well, the situation is very, very difficult, especially during this winter period. But once again, nothing of this, which has already happened to Ukraine, and no future missile strikes will break our will to fight for our freedom. And that's 100%. That's what I'm sure about. I'll probably stop here. And if you have the questions, I would be ready and very pleased and honored to answer them to the best of my understanding. Oh, I'm long.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Ambassador, for your very strong presentation of a very serious situation. But you have also given us lots of hope. We really appreciate that. I don't know if there there are any questions from the floor. Our time is really out already, but if anyone has a question, you're most welcome. Otherwise, I would like to conclude this seminar by thanking you very much. And just to say that on behalf of the European Parliament office here in Sweden, we congratulate you for winning the Sakharov Prize for Freedom of Thought. And your partners from Ukraine will take part in the prize ceremony in Strasbourg next week. And so the people of Ukraine, your president, your leaders, and the civil society, lots of congratulations to you. And thank you for coming here today, Mr. Ambassador. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot for having me, and thanks a lot for this. We are so honored to receive this prize this year.
Thank you. Och tack till er i publiken. Tack till er som kom. Thanks a lot.